revolves around an orphan whose father went missing when she was only 5 years old, with the mother passing away shortly after. She was raised in an orphanage called Granite when, in one September, she alongside some other orphans get an unlikely offer to be all adopted, going to live in a large mansion owned by the Barrows family.
When I was 5 years old, my father went missing, and soon after that, my mother passed away.
We're so lucky to live in a mansion like this.
I'm not so sure about it. I think it's really creepy.
Still better than being in an orphanage, right, Jennifer?
Miss Mary, the house we're going to live in from now on, do you know what it's like? That is the question Jennifer asks their new guardian who has adopted the girls. As Miss Mary Barrows leads the group to the mansion, the girls are fascinated by the large size of the mansion, being generally happy that they don't have to live in the orphanage anymore, yet being a little uncomfortable in this new place. The guardian, Miss Mary, goes on to speak to the owner of the house, seemingly her husband, as she says it herself, while the girls wait in the main hall.
We're so lucky to live in a mansion like this.
I'm not so sure about it. I think it's really creepy.
But it's still better than being in an orphanage, right, Jennifer? I think it's strange that the owner of the mansion hasn't shown up yet. And we still don't know why we were all adopted.
Because Mr. Barrows loves helping children. And you will get to meet him very soon.
Jennifer talks to her friend Anne, Laura, and Lottie for some time when they feel something strange might be happening as Mary has been gone for some time. Jennifer decides to go and check on her, leaving the main hall when a loud scream from where she was startles her. She instinctively runs back in a panic to find out what's going on when she is shocked to see the hall is completely empty with no sign of her friends anywhere. She is confused and scared, not knowing what's going on, who decides to explore the mansion and find her friends. As she goes around, the atmosphere becomes creepy, finding creepy paintings and a broken picture frame. It doesn't take long before she pulls the curtains of the shower, finding her friend Laura being restrained.
Laura?
Laura seems unconscious when all of a sudden a small statured person jumps out of the filled bathtub just beneath Laura, having an oversized pair of shears chasing after Jennifer with deadly intent.
There's a killer in this mansion.
The character will become known as the Scissor Man, who is more than comfortable to use these shears to kill Jennifer. Managing to outrun this being and knock him out with a shovel, she explores the place some more, finding a freezer with rotten and pest-infested meat. There's definitely something strange happening in this mansion, and clearly the Barrows family had ulterior motives adopting this group of girls. Nothing noble or compassionate, but something a lot more sinister. Soon after, Jennifer finds a secret room which seems to have been unvisited for years. Inside, she finds a medical chart of a couple of patients who are two newborn babies, with the patient who gave birth being called Mary Barrows, which means Miss Mary Barrows, the one who has taken the guardianship of the group of girls, gave birth to a set of twins within the mansion with a private doctor. There lies a corpse of a man whose back has a name embroiled on it, being Walter Simpson. This shocking discovery sends chills down Jennifer's spine, realizing this person is none other than her father, who went missing when she was 5 years old, which directly had an impact on her and her mother's life, as the mother passed away soon after, possibly from grief. The secret of her father's whereabouts are finally unveiled, revealing that he was possibly trapped in this place and killed. The reason behind her adoption becomes more twisted and convoluted, connecting it to the father, that maybe she herself was lured here so that something can happen to her. A note on his corpse reveals what really happened to him. 10th of November, 1986. It has been 3 days since I was locked away. I don't think I will last much longer. before my life ends, I have to record everything I know about the twins who will bring calamity to the world. I was called in to deliver Miss Barrows' baby, and that's when she gave birth to them, the demonic children. My right hand was bitten off as they exited their mother's womb. Their bodies haven't fully developed, so they probably won't be able to live more than a few days. But if, as you read this, they happen to still be alive, please bring an end to their existence somehow. I'm certain that something horrible will happen if they remain alive. It's hard to breathe in here. The room seems to be losing its oxygen as I write this. The cradle under the star. That's where they sleep deeply. Jennifer. Oh, Jennifer. So the father was a doctor who was called in to do a private job of helping in birthing to the rich and mysterious Barrows family newborns. He discovers the truth on how the newborns are monstrous, with one of them eating his hand off, which leads to the family locking him up in this room so their secret won't be exposed. Jennifer, reading this letter, how this horrible family ruined her life and her family's life, a life that was stolen from her, can't help herself but shed tears. Devastated, dropping on her knees, she becomes driven by another goal now, not to just save her friends and escape, but to put an end to the demonic children. Jennifer stands up from what energy she has left, continuing on her journey. She soon comes across Mary waiting in a room, holding a knife behind her and slowly approaching Jennifer to deliver a sneak blow and kill her. But Jennifer knows better now not to trust her and decides to run away. Getting away from the psychotic individual, Jennifer goes to a room where she finds a mural displaying some sort of ancient ritual as if being a way to summon demons. One of the ritual books read, to bring the crime to a standstill, the clock at the clock tower needs to be stopped. Exploring room to figure out more about the strange and satanic family, Jennifer finds a reanimated corpse-like monster whom she incapacitates using a special ceremonial dagger. After that, she finds a room where there's a butchered crow, which shows the way the family performs the rituals. Finding a black robe earlier, it becomes very clear that this family performs cult rituals to summon demons, which helps her find the ritual room depicted in the mural, managing to open the hole which she saw in the wall painting. As she goes down, she finds an underground secret cavern with a person wearing one of those black robes that she found earlier, seemingly on their way to perform some sort of ritual. There's a large dog guarding the passage, which seems to be whether a Doberman or a German Shepherd, who starts growling. Having found the black robe earlier and a perfume belonging to Mary Barrows, she wears the robe and sprays herself with the perfume, which makes the dog easily letting her through as it is familiar with the scent and the robe. Going deeper into the cavern, she finds her friend Lottie still alive, having her hands restrained, just passing in and out of consciousness. Lottie instructs her to find the switches in the clock tower before she passes out, and maybe she dies. What could be the switches in the clock tower, and could they somehow put an end to this family's rituals? Lottie is surrounded by a circle of candles who seems to be the latest victim of the family to use as a sacrifice in their rituals. It is very clear now the family adopted these orphans in order to kill them and use them in their demonic rituals. Going deeper into the cavern, Jennifer finds a stage covered with curtains which she sneaks a peek, finding a large monstrous being who happens to be one of the demonic babies Mary Barrows gave birth to. It seems they have been kidnapping or adopting orphans in order to feed them to the child while also performing demonic rituals. It's unclear how Mary got impregnated to give birth to such a demonic child, but it might be due to their rituals or even having the seed from some sort of a demon. Jennifer runs away from this monster while it sets chase after her, whom she manages to incapacitate by throwing the present kerosene cans at, blowing up in the face. This leads to a smaller gooey figure emerging out of its slushy remains, which remains unclear what would happen to this being. Finding an elevator, it takes Jennifer all the way up to the top of the clock tower that is built within the mansion, where the scissor man comes rushing towards Jennifer to kill her. Just before she manages to turn the switches on, making the clock to start working, causing the scissor man feel some sort of unbearable pain, dropping his shears and falling to his death into the gears of the clock. An enraged Mary Barrows rushes from a corner, trying to strangle Jennifer for indirectly causing the death of the scissor man, who suddenly gets attacked by the crows that she had caged to use in her rituals, falling to her death from the top of the platform as well. This would only happen if Jennifer frees the crows that were caged in the crow room, where they were killing them, and as it is suggested, crows tend to remember faces and the treatment that they get from people. So these crows had a massive grudge and came to help Jennifer take down their oppressor. With this, Jennifer manages to find Anne, one of her friends, whom was held here for whatever reason. Both Anne and Jennifer look outside the clock tower, with the sky soon clearing and the sun coming out, symbolizing a better day is awaiting the girls who managed to survive this cultish family.
There once was a remote mansion in the mountainous region of northern Europe. The owner of the mansion was named Mr. Barrows. There was a large clock tower there, and people in the area used the sound of its bell as a signal for when to let their animals out to graze. It's not known who started it or when, but the people called the mansion by the name Clock Tower. Then one day, the bell of the clock tower stopped ringing, and it was as though the town lost the concept of time. The year is 1995. There is a young girl in an orphanage, more beautiful than any other. Her name is Jennifer. When she was 5 years old, her father disappeared and her mother passed away soon after, so she was sent to Granite Orphanage. Then one day, news arrived that Jennifer and 3 of her friends at the orphanage would be adopted. So Jennifer and her friends headed to the mansion with their teacher Miss Mary, who guided the girls to their new home. But what Jennifer doesn't yet know is the true mystery of the mansion called Clock Tower.
Now let's go over some details about the lore and the characters. The large purple monster found in the cavern is called Dan Barrows, who is one of the twins given birth to by Mary Barrows. A note written by Jennifer's father, Walter, before his passing, referring to the cradle under the stars, was pointing out to the bed that this demonic child sleeps in, the bed found in the cavern. So this wasn't a stage after all, but rather a giant cradle. Dan in fact survives this altercation with Jennifer, and the gooey figure emerging from its body becomes a fully formed human who will become known as Edward in the sequel, but we will leave that for another video. The other twin is in fact the other antagonist, the Scissor Man, with his real name being Bobby Barrows. The twins seem to have been born in some sort of shell or husk, taking them a decade to fully develop. Hence why Dan looked the way he did, and also Bobby looked the way he did, having the shears. Dan manages to survive and develop into a human-looking individual, but Bobby actually dies a horrific death, not being able to fully develop. It seems as if the family was performing a final ritual so that the children will develop and come out of their cocoon, who needed human flesh and sacrifice, hence why they brought this group of girls. Finally, the owner of the mansion, the husband to Mary Barrows, is called Simon Barrows, who is unclear to have been the one impregnating Mary to give birth to these children, or if an actual demon was involved. The children were born in 1986, with the current time being 1995, which means they would fully develop the coming year. There are more games to the series which expand on the lore a lot more. Depending on how well this video does, I will go over the other games as well. And that is it for this video, folks. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to put your comments down below, and depending on how well the video does, I will make more videos about the Clock Tower series. As always, it's been your host Star. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day.